Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. If you do not have a machine polisher, fear not, you are completely normal. But really your only option for kind of polishing the paintwork is to do it by hand. On products like these, your all-in-one, your hand filler glaze polishes and 3-in-1 wax are really your main option. In this video we are going to be comparing two market-leading brands, literally two of the biggest brands in the world. Meguiars have got their new 3-in-1 wax, and we're going to be comparing that with Autoglym's kind of stalwart super resin polish, which has been around for a long time. Which one will come out on top? Let's find out. Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're looking at these kind of hand polishes. You can call them so many different things. You could call them a glaze, you could call them an all-in-one or a 3-in-1 with the Meguiars product. You could call them a pre-wax cleaner almost with the Autoglym product. Let's just talk about, there's some slight differences with these two products, but they're essentially the same thing. Let's just look at what they are in the product claim. So Autoglym Super Resin Polish. Now let's take the super away. Resin and polish are the two key words there. So I think of it as one containing resins, so things which are dissolved and will harden as the solvent vapes out, and polish and abrasive. So this product does contain small amounts of abrasive. It also contains some resins which are going to fill the kind of fine swirls on your car when you work them into it. The product description or the product claims cleans and conditions your paintwork, polishes your paintwork. Also says the resins harden and bond to give exceptional protection and cosmetic effect. So it does use the word protection in there, and UV protection I think it mentions on this particular bottle, which is an old bottle as well, guys, which is important to point out. I'm not going to go and buy another one. I've still got tons left in this one. This product, when you buy it, will last you a long time. The main claim of the Meguiars product: removes swirls, water spots and blemishes, increases depth of gloss and colour clarity, provides long-lasting protection. So effectively cleans, polishes and protects. So if you read between the lines, the claims of these two products are the same. And I believe Meguiars does state that this product contains abrasives as well. Right, that's the first thing, guys. Now I want to go through a whole load of different criteria with these products and then assign like a kind of winner for each one, and then at the end we'll go through all the categories and come up with an overall winner. First up, price. Quite simple. The Megs 3-in-1 wax costs £25 for 473 millilitres, roughly half a litre. The Autoglym Super Resin Polish costs £13 for 500 ml. Okay, roughly the same amount. So it's roughly half the price. You can also, the product I've got here is £17 for a litre. So that extra 500 ml, it becomes much better to buy a litre of this basically, doesn't it, at £17. In simple layman's terms, the Autoglym product is roughly half the price of Meguiars, so wins the first category by quite a substantial margin. Next up, guys, not important to some people, but I'm going to comment on it, and that's the kind of product presentation and packaging. It's very important for these brands. First up, the Autoglym product. I have one annoyance with this, guys, is that when you pop the lid of this and you go to pick the product up, you can, just a gentle squeeze can sometimes force product like a volcano out the top. And there's many times when I pop the lid of this open that the polish kind of squirts out and or runs down the side of the bottle. So that can be a little bit annoying for me. The Meguiars has a different type of lid where you just push that. You've probably seen it, and the top comes up. You have to be careful not to squeeze this too much, or you can get too much product flying out. But generally, I prefer the Meg's little bottle, just because it doesn't tend to fly the product out. Meg's product also comes in a box, and they give you an applicator in there. I'm not too bothered about either of those things, but fair enough. The box is quite good when you're buying these products. The Meguiars product also puts lots of sort of before and after and visual cues about what the product does, and I've noticed those visual cues are really important when you're in Halfords and you sort of see guys walk in. Some of them are looking around at all these products not knowing what they're looking for, and as soon as they see a visual cue before and after, it's very powerful. And I think that's part of the reason these Meguiars products are successful, as well as being good products, is when you're in kind of Halfords and you're looking for something very, very quickly, you're not sitting there like me, staring at them all, reading all the instructions. Some of these guys come in and they're like this, they see the picture, that's what I want, boom. So I'm going to give the product presentation to Meguiars. Next up, guys, application. You essentially put a blob of these products. You don't have to use too much, depending on, you know, the trap you want to avoid is throwing loads of products all over here and trying to cover the whole hood in one time. Just work in little small sections at a time, a quarter of your hood. Even dividing your hood into 9 might, if you really want to go to town on it, really work it like a robot, you know. Maybe a wing at one particular point. You know, 2 or 3 dots of product would probably be enough to cover the wing. As long as you can get the coverage and you're working the product, then it should be working. In my opinion, the Meguiars product is slightly more oily than the Autoglym product. Slightly more oily, but essentially these two products feel very, very similar to work over the paintwork. Neither of them are like grabby or sticky. They're both reasonably smooth. You feel that little bit of abrasive there. But on application and laying them out, virtually identical, but I would just give it to Meguiars. The next thing is flashing and hazing. The Autoglym product is slightly quicker to vaporize. The solvents in it vaporize and the product dries quicker, so it can be ready to buff slightly quicker than the Meguiars. Not much in it again. Removal of the products, guys, buffing off the panel, they both buff really, really nice. What I'll say is the longer you're using the Autoglym product for, the more it's a kind of chalkier, more abrasive product. If you put too much of it on, you'll get that powder over your panel, and that builds up on your microfiber. It's less noticeable with the Meguiars product. So I would give the removal and the application to Meguiars, but both of them are pretty good products to work with, and someone might say they're, for all intensive purposes, they're virtually identical. Bloody. A side note, guys, one other thing, the Meguiars product has a product claim there that it's good at removing, or it can be used for removing water spots. I've tested it on removing water spots, and in my opinion it is not that effective. In exactly the same way that the Super Resin Polish product isn't that effective at removing water spots. The difference is the Super Resin Polish, as far as I know, doesn't claim it. But I thought I would test that, and I had some water spots on the car that had been on there a while. Just rubbing over them, they just didn't come off like they would do when I used a descaler type product that just shifts them efficiently. Scrubbing away at them is not the way to remove water spots, in my opinion. Next up, guys, the odours of these products, because they're both solvent carried predominantly, and the solvent is vaporising. One very important thing for me, especially when I'm using them inside, is how much does that solvent affect me? Now, the Autoglym, if you've used this product, you'll know about the smell. It has that polishy smell, that rich, sweet musk, but it's not a pleasant smell. And I find with this, the longer I'm using the Super Resin Polish, the more it kind of gets up my nose, which isn't hard when you've got a nose this big. You know, it's like the Blackwall Tunnel, all the vapours are going up there. But I just find the smell of the Super Resin Polish after a while starts to get to me. The Meguiars product has been scented and it has a sweet fragrance, and I like that. However, I do notice that the Meguiars product does also get up my nose a little bit after I'm using them. I think it's inevitable when you're using a solvent-based type polish like this that's evaporating. You're going to be honking them in. So perhaps the sensible thing is just to make sure you're using them in a reasonably well-ventilated area. But to keep it simple, I'm going to give this one to Meguiars because I think the scent and overall the smell is slightly less intrusive. Okay guys, next up, a simple gloss test, 50-50 on a bonnet. We use the products consistently the same way as instructed, and then we measure the gloss. First up, 20-degree gloss. The average over 5 readings, Super Resin Polish 88.7 and Meguiars 3in1 Wax 87.8. Very, very close, almost negligible. You could argue, you could call that a draw really. And you know, that's close enough that if I did the test again, the other one might edge it. But let's just keep it simple. The Autoglym won it by 0.9 of a gloss unit. The next test that we did with regards to gloss is reading the R spec, which is a very sensitive peak reading. Okay, now the closer your R spec is to your 20-degree gloss reading, the less fine surface texture you have, your kind of peak gloss. The Autoglym measured 86 units of R spec. The Meguiars product measured 84.3. So the Autoglym product won that by 1.7 units, which is very small, very close again. So they're having a kind of similar effect on gloss. Thirdly, haze, which is quite important. I just measured haze. An average of 5 readings. The Meguiars product got 11.8 units of haze. You want low, so the closer to 0 the better, the higher the worse. So 11.8 for the Meguiars product and 20.1 for the Autoglym product. So the Autoglym product perhaps a little bit more hazy than the Meguiars product, according to the one test I've done on one bit of panels. I mean, you can test this to hell and back. Could there be reasons for that beyond the products? Possibly. One thing I'll say is all of the readings for the Meguiars haze, they're all quite close, and I'll overlay you the shots. You can see 10.5, 10, 10.7, 10.3, 11.8. The Autoglym ones were up and down. So there was a 6.7, there was a 11, a 17.6, a 25 and a 40. One very high reading which might have skewed it. So you never know really. The results are what the results are based on the testing I've done, and then you can kind of make your own mind on that. So Autoglym edged it on the 2 gloss related readings, but Meguiars edged it on the log haze, on the hazing. So that's interesting, isn't it? So who do I make the winner? What I'll do is I'll separate this down into 2 tests. I did call it a gloss test originally, so I'll give Autoglym a mark for having the most gloss, and I'll give Meguiars a mark for having the least amount of haze or log haze. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next up, swirl filling. So my test panel, guys, has spider's web swirls, quite heavy ones. Now, how do these products work? If you think you're going to have swirly paintwork and you're going to buff these products into that swirly paintwork is going to disappear and your paintwork is going to be perfect. No, they don't do that. The bad news is you're going to need to get into machine polishing if you want to really, really polish out swirl marks, okay? What these are going to do is very fine swirls which make your paintwork, say for example you've got a black car, fine swirls will make that black actually appear slightly more opaque. They'll make it whiter. Slightly grayer, I suppose, and when you fill those fine scratches and polish them a little bit by hand, then you get your colour clarity back. Guys, I'll just overlay the pictures of the before and after results because I cannot tell the difference of which one is filled the most. The swirls we're dealing with on this car are quite deep. After the first pass with the products, I couldn't tell. We did another pass on the products and I still couldn't tell. And I did the entire bonnet so I could leave the product outside and test the protective qualities of it. And I still couldn't tell after the 3rd hit which one performed best on its ability to fill. That is going to be a damn fine, difficult thing to test. Yeah, interesting. Let's just leave it there. I can waffle on for hours, you know me. But that I'm calling a draw. Okay, next up, guys, protection. Now, the Autoglym product is more of a preparing your surface, improving the look of the surface, cleaning it up, buffing it, you know, burnishing it, and then putting the wax on afterwards. So it's like a pre-wax treatment, if you like, for your paint. It does use the word though, it bonds to the paintwork and gives exceptional protection. So that's a carte blanche for me to actually compare it in terms of protection. However, the Meguiars product actually claims it's a wax, clean, polishes and protects. And it has a hydrophobic kind of effect, I'm sure somewhere on this box here. Protects. Rich blend of carnauba and synthetic waxes provide a durable protective barrier and resilient water beading. So we laid this product down over the whole half, so one on one half, one on the other, left that product, buffed it off and then left that product for 24 hours before I've done the water testing. Clearly to me, before I put any chemicals on it, the Meguiars product is more hydrophobic. This is hydrophobic after you've used it because it's probably like crammed all of the paint with oils and resins and stuff like that, which are slightly hydrophobic. But the Meguiars product, like I say, that's very repellent. You can see, I'll overlay all the shots, it's throwing the water off like a really nice repellent wax. I then used a strong chemical P&S Brake Buster, guys, which is I just wanted to use something that was going to hammer these so I could just do a one-hit comparison. I put that Brake Buster on and I left it sitting there for between 5 and 10 minutes, which is a long time. And then I rinsed it off, guys, and it was clear to me that it had stripped the Autoglym product, or it was just, there was no hydrophobic effect at all. The water was completely static. The Meguiars 3in1 wax, it had taken a big chunk of the performance out, but there was still some sheeting going on. So basic terms, the Meguiars 3in1 wax withstood the assault with the, you know, with the water-based detergent wheel cleaner. So from that, I'm going to say that the protective hydrophobic performance of this product is more long-lasting than the Autoglym product. Like I say, the disclaimer, Autoglym will say, well, yeah, it's not supposed to be a protection product. You've got to put a wax on top of it. Overall conclusions, guys: price, 2 ticks for SRP, presentation to Meguiars, application and removal to Meguiars, curing to SRP, scent to Meguiars, gloss to SRP, haze to Meguiars, filling to God knows, I couldn't decide, it's a draw, protection to Meguiars 3in1. Add up all the ticks, Autoglym has 4 ticks, Meguiars has 5, therefore Meguiar wins this test. Okay guys, quick summary. The deciding factor, the 1 tick, which meant that the Meguiars product won, was the fact that it's doing everything in one. Which is a bit unfair because perhaps the Autoglym product isn't designed to do that, so it got beaten on that sense. This product and the Meguiars product is twice the cost of the Autoglym product. Normally on the Forensics Detailing channel, price plays a significant part in how I rate these, and Meguiars have lost a lot of these shootout videos lately because they've overpriced versus what I'm testing them against. The argument for this is because I haven't got to go and buy a paste wax and the product is also doing the waxing, and it looks like the wax and the protection in this product is legitimate and it's good, that's actually saving me a lot of money. So this product therefore perhaps isn't that expensive, although the 25 price tag is going to put a few people off. But I hope this is, I've done this fair, guys. Not much in it, both pretty similar products that will give you similar results. But if I keep it very, very simple, I would like the idea of just using this and not having to wax afterwards, working it down and buffing it. Taking all the testing aside, guys, I've used this on the Betsy, on the M140, and it really scrubs out the paintwork. The paintwork feels nice after it's been used. That's an important thing. So sometimes after you wash your car, you want to really, and it's very clean, you want to get some nice clean cloths, and buffing on it with a nice abrasive product like this will really bring up the finish, and I think that will deliver it to you. Once you've gone around and buffed your entire car, going back over and then waxing it again, and doing the same thing and buffing it all again is a bit of a pain. So I really like the fact that this product can do it all in one. All 3 stages of cleaning, polishing and protecting in one. So the Meguiars product I think is good. I think you should check it out, guys. And thanks for watching this review. And like I say, let me know your thoughts on this particular one. That's all from the Forensics Detailing channel. Bye for now. See you soon.
holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?